course, and Michael, this is for you. This is Marvel Comics, and that's me.
What kind of comics?
Michael had agreed to travel to Exeter to help raise money for Exeter City Football Club and to raise money for a children's charity. On the train with him was Mark Lester. The pair had become friends when they were both child stars. Mark had played the part of Oliver as a boy. Michael and Mark were godfathers to each other's children.
As a godparent, Michael was fabulous. I mean, we spent Christmas with him a couple of years ago, and he flew us all out to Bahrain for a week, and we arrived at this palace where we were staying, and Michael had laid out all the Christmas presents, and it looked like the ground floor of Hamleys. I've never seen so many presents in my life. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, if the children never had Christmas again, that would have been, they've had all their Christmases in one go. I mean, it was unbelievable. And we had a week of absolute joy with Michael and his children. And Michael, as a dad, was a great dad. He was the sort of dad that everyone would want to have as a dad. You know, he was firm but fair. The children were, he was very hot on manners, especially table manners. The children were extremely polite. They always had to say please and thank you, and he was very particular about that. They were very well educated, I must say. They are some of the brightest kids, and they are very polite and very, very nice children. Michael did a very good job on bringing them up.
Once in Exeter, thousands were waiting to meet Michael as he arrived at the football ground with Uri, Mark and David Blaine. It was a special moment for one disabled young fan.
I ran through the whole crowd, jumped under the bodyguard's legs and jumped in Michael Jackson's arms and held him so tight, it was unbelievable. And he walked around for a bit and then tapped me on the head and said, "I love you." And then it was just like the most memorable thing I ever done in my life.
It helped him enormously. It helped with your self-esteem, didn't it? It helped with just feeling good about himself, because when you are disabled, and certainly he wasn't walking very well, it was a huge thing for you to do, wasn't it, to make that
definitely.
Running across that pitch. And of course then we got to know Uri, who's been in his life ever since.
Back in the stadium, Michael met other local children. One of them was Lauren Setherton, who at the time was suffering from cancer.
Right in front of me was Michael Jackson, and I was just stunned. I put my hands like this. I actually had tears in my eyes, and I was shaking. I was like, Mum, like, Michael Jackson stood right in front of me, and it was just surreal. To be honest, he looked like a waxwork doll. He did not look real. He was so pale, and his eyeliner tattooed on, and bright red lips. And I remember just thinking, oh, he just doesn't look real. And when I was talking to him, I just couldn't help but look, obviously, at his nose. I couldn't stop staring. And, you know, I was trying my hardest not to, because, you know, when you're talking to somebody and you're staring at one thing. But like my mum said too, that you just can't help it, because you're just thinking it's so tiny, and all the way that it's changed, and it's so tiny, you think, how can he possibly breathe through that little nose, you know? There was one thing in particular that he did. He had a big bowl of M&Ms, so he had thousands of packets in this massive bowl, and I can't remember what colour it was, but there was definitely one colour had to be taken out, which we found really odd, because he said, no, I don't want any of that colour.
Today, Lauren is in good health. The memories of Michael's visit are still etched on her mind.
There you go. Let's go. Cool.
When Michael talked to me about my illness and my cancer and treatment and being really positive, he made me feel so good. I went away feeling extra positive and felt really good that somebody that famous could even talk to me and talk that nicely and say how positive things. It just made me feel great, really.
Another day is gone. I'm still all alone.
Back in London, Michael had one last appointment in his diary before flying back to the States, a shopping trip to Harrods.
He wanted to see the memorial that Mohammed created for Diana and Dodi. So we went down the escalator and he stood there and there was silence, and he was so sad Michael loved Diana, and he was a good friend of Dodi. And I think it was the first time that he saw this memorial. It was a very touching moment. I looked into his face, and yeah, he just stood there, and Mohammed was also very, very sad. I had long conversations with Michael about Diana. He just was in love with her. No doubt. He was in love with Diana. This is the memorial, as you can see. You must understand Mohammed, very sad, crying. And then we moved away into the clothing section. Michael liked this shirt, so he took it off the mannequin, and Mohammed gave him the shirt.
Look, Turco.
And I don't know why I bent a spoon for Michael here. Somebody wanted me to bend a spoon.
That's music.
This is in the antique section of Harrods, and there was this weird, bizarre antique reading chair. Michael sat in it. In the music section, the DVD and CD section, I discovered a box with 100 most renowned and famous pianists. And I noticed that one of my closest friends, Byron Janis, who lives in New York, his name was on the box, so his CD was in there. So I called Byron, and I said, Byron, here is Michael, talk to him.
Hi, Byron.
Hi, Michael. How you doing?
How are you doing? We're sitting here looking at it's a really incredible box. It's huge. And this is a great honor to have you in there. It's amazing. It's a huge thing. It really is. It's like a big...
They got a lot of pianists in 100 years, I guess.
Yeah, it's a great honor for you. It's amazing.
But look, Michael takes his time. This is the miracle of Michael Jackson. He had time for everyone, no matter who, what position, who they were. He just pleased everyone. He didn't have to, but he did.
Michael's visit to London had been a triumph, but his friendship with Uri was about to be rocked to its foundations. Uri had been asked by journalist Martin Bashir to introduce him to Michael. The documentary that followed would create headlines around the world. In 2002, Uri Geller and Michael Jackson were firm friends. Michael had visited Uri twice. He'd even been best man when Uri renewed his wedding vows. But 3 years earlier, during one of their first meetings, Uri had wanted to put his mind at rest about child abuse allegations made against Michael.
In the last half hour, Michael Jackson's lawyers have agreed a huge cash settlement with the boy who says the singer abused him.
In 1993, Michael had been accused of molesting a 13-year-old boy, Geordie Chandler. And as Uri prepared to embark on a friendship with Michael, he found an opportunity to ask him about those allegations.
He said to me suddenly, this mind power that you have, Uri Geller, can you send it to me? Can I feel it? And also, there's some food I eat, and I don't want to eat junk food. Can you make me not eat it? And then I said to him, look, Michael, I used to be a hypnotist in Israel before I became famous for my spoon bending. Will you allow me to hypnotize you? And he said, wow, yes, can you really hypnotize? There was that streak of suspicion in me. I had to get rid of that, and that's why I suddenly confronted him under hypnosis. I asked him, Michael, did you ever touch a child in an inappropriate manner? And Michael answered immediately, no, I would never do that. And then I asked him, well, why did you pay off Geordie Chandler? He said to me immediately, I had enough. I couldn't take it anymore. You know, I brought him out of the trance. He never knew this. To me, this was a private validation that this poor man is innocent.
But allegations of child abuse would return to haunt Michael years later. In 2002, Uri received a phone call from journalist Martin Bashir, the man who had famously interviewed Princess Diana. He wanted Uri to introduce him to Michael so he could make a documentary.
I said to myself, wow, you know, Michael loved Diana so much that maybe this is the right guy. This is the right person. I mean, he did interview Princess Diana, for goodness sake. And I thought, this is great. And I took Martin Bashir to the hotel.
3 года спустя английские поклонники окружали его на железнодорожной станции Пэддингтон, куда он прибыл вместе с фокусником Ури Геллером. Я никогда не видел ничего подобного и надеюсь, что не увижу. Майкла чуть не убили. Он даже упал на платформу. И вот что я вам скажу. Если бы Майкл не был в такой форме, он бы так там и остался. В этом же году он поссорился со своим другом Ури Геллером, который утверждал, что певец оставил неприятное сообщение на автоответчике своего бывшего адвоката. Когда я услышал голос Майкла на той записи, я был просто шокирован. Я пришел в ужас, расстроился. И я, и моя жена. Майкл присутствовал на нашей свадьбе, когда мы решили провести вторичную церемонию. И эти слова, я считаю, что эти высказывания несут антисемитский характер. И я в этом не сомневаюсь.
They sucked them like leeches. I was so tired of it. They start out the most popular person in the world, make a lot of money, big house, cars, and everything, end up with penniless. It is conspiracy. The Jews do it on purpose.
Мы также пытались пробиться в шоу-бизнес, но никому не удалось достичь популярности Майкла. В 2001-м он впервые с 1984 года снова вышел на сцену с братьями, чтобы отпраздновать 30-летие своей сольной карьеры. В этом же году стало известно, что Майкл рассорился со своим звукозаписывающим лейблом Sony Music. Майкл предполагал, что права на мастер-записи должны были к нему вернуться, и был неприятно удивлен, узнав, что они останутся в распоряжении Sony. Он опасался, что компания решила выкупить у него часть его музыкального каталога, и чтобы заставить его согласиться, провалила компании по рекламе его последнего альбома «Invisible». В лондонском клубе в 2002 году он не скрывал своих намерений. Мы не можем позволить, чтобы это просто так сошло им с рук. Теперь я сам себе хозяин. Я должен Sony еще один альбом. Это просто сборник с 2 новыми песнями, которые я записал, бог знает сколько лет назад. Для каждого нового альбома я пишу, и я говорю чистую правду, и я пишу где-то 120 песен. Я могу выпустить бокс-сет, добавить 2 новые песни. Я ухожу из Sony свободным, владея половиной Sony.
We sat in the lobby, and then I introduced Michael to Bashir in his room. I introduced them, and I left them.
Do you come out here on your own?
Yeah.
How often?
All the time.
You just come out on your own?
Yes.
And go on a ride?
Yep.
The documentary that followed made headlines around the world. But from Michael Jackson's point of view, it was for all the wrong reasons. During the period of filming, Michael had dangled his baby son blanket from a hotel balcony in Berlin. And later in the program, Michael had been filmed holding a boy's hand at his Neverland ranch. He admitted sharing his bedroom with children.
They make that sexual. It's not sexual. But we're going to sleep. I tuck them in. I put a little music on, and do a little storytelling. I read a book. It's very sweet. We put the fireplace on. We give them hot milk. You know, we have little cookies. It's very charming.
Just months after broadcast, the boy filmed with Michael would accuse him of abuse. Michael was arrested and handcuffed.
In my opinion, this interview could have been fantastic for Michael. But Michael did a few mistakes while Bashir was interviewing him. One, he sat there with this kid, holding hands, very innocently, very lovingly, not thinking what I've told him so many times, that the world doesn't see that the right way. The world gets suspicious. It's unacceptable. Two, that Michael said something about the kids, tucking them in bed, giving them milk, and he doesn't say it's totally innocent, because it was innocent. Michael was saying the truth, not thinking that the world doesn't see it that way.
During the trial that followed in 2005, the star looked frail, the strain on him evident. Urie appeared on TV to plead Michael's innocence.
I know for a fact that there will be thousands of fans helping him. They will attend, and I also hope that Michael Jackson knows how to dip into the pool of tangible consciousness of his fans and derive the positive energy and the love that he will be getting from them.
Finally, after a 5-month trial, Michael was acquitted. But it seemed his friendship with Urie was over.
So after that documentary, the rift occurred. Yeah. And, you know, I really feel bad about it. But you know what? It was hard and difficult to get back, even if I wanted to. Situations changed.
This year, however, it seemed that Urie's friendship with Michael could have been rekindled. The pair still shared a mutual friend, British bodyguard Matt Fiddes, seen here with Michael.
Just a few weeks ago, he asked about me. He asked Matt, "Hey, how's Urie? Give Urie my love. I miss him." Matt told me every time Michael would come to England, he would ask for me. So I knew that the powerful connection that was always there, the love, the respect, the mutual chemistry was there, intact.
Michael had announced a comeback, a series of 50 London concerts.
These will be my final show performances in London.
But just weeks after that press conference, Urie was in his car with his wife Hannah when he received a phone call saying Michael was in a coma.
I remember driving down the driveway and I could hear the phones ringing, and my mobile phone was ringing. And I picked up the phone and it was CNN, some anchor person, and they said to me, "Can you confirm the rumors that Michael is dead?" And I thought it was a hoax. My living mind would not accept that. And I shut the phone down because it was a hoax. It was not real.
The king of pop was dead.
Good evening. We have breaking news for you tonight. The singer Michael Jackson is reported to have died from a heart attack.
News reports talked of an addiction to prescription drugs.
Okay, and I'll call you too.
For Urie, the reports were no surprise. For years, he kept private what he'd witnessed.
Thank you, Michael. I love it. Thank you. Michael, I love you.
I've never, ever seen him take anything. I've never seen that. But I've seen the aftermath. And the aftermath sometimes was devastating. I couldn't wake Michael up one day. I grabbed his body and I kind of tried to wake him up. I was really concerned. I said, Michael, what have you done? What have you taken? Michael, open your eyes. Are you okay? There were moments where Matt, Fides and I were shouted back when we tried to forcefully explain him that, you know, he can't go on with this. And it was said, don't tell me, this is my private life. Stop there.
On another occasion, Uri confronted Michael as he lay motionless in bed.
And, you know, I really shouted, Michael, stop it. Michael, you will die. You're killing yourself. Look at you. The world needs you. Nobody wants to lose you. And he was there in bed, and he just stared at me. And you know, I'm sure he knew, of course. I'm sure he knew, but only God knows now why he did this.
Whatever the cause of Michael's death, for Uri and millions of fans, his legacy will be his music.
Michael Jackson was a sensitive, intuitive, gentle person, loving individual, and he gave so much to the world. He knew how to drink in and absorb the love that was emitted to him from his millions of fans around the world. He was a master in taking that power of love, that energy, and turn it into music. He was amazing, and I will always remember Michael as an icon, as an idol, as a phenomenon. And most of all, as the biggest pop star the universe will ever have.
Next tonight, the insight into the world of the King of Pop continues here on ITV2 with Martin Bashir and Living with Michael Jackson.